Mitch, what's the state of job shops in North America?
Well, job shops have been through a tough 10 years, for sure. I mean, they started with, outsourcing overseas, people chasing low prices. A recession hit, so there's been a right sizing in the job shop market. But I think that right sizing is the key, because there were a lot of shops that just didn't make it, unfortunately. So the ones that are left are in a really good position right now for a number of reasons. One of those is people that chased that low price to China are finding out that it actually wasn't what they thought it was. So a lot of that work is starting to come back to America for the price differential. But there's also another reason they do it. The other one is for flexibility, because when you subcontract work to the other side of the world, you have to order in bigger lots, which means you'd have more capital outlaid, more risk, and for the people that are buying the parts, if their customers don't consume their products fast enough, then you're stuck with inventory. So what a lot of buyers are telling us now is they would rather order in smaller spurts as they see their customer demand, and that's really being a boon to the job shops in America, coupled with the fact that a lot of them just went away during the recession, so there's less of them. So the ones that are standing and made it through appear to be thriving. I think it's a good time to be a job shop in America. When I say job shop, I'm talking about machine shops, plastic molders, metal fabricators.
Okay. So are you seeing a lot of shops that are getting busy? What's your advice to them?
Yeah, they are getting busy, busier than ever. We at MFG.com, we have the good fortune to interact with a lot of job shop owners, and I love that part of the job, because it's just the salt of the earth, because that's what built America, was these guys that, the machinists, tool and die makers, mold makers. That's where wealth got created in America. These people they know what's happening in the lay of the land, and they're telling us that they're getting busy. If I were to give any advice, as if these guys need any advice, it would be that recessionary times come and go. There are global threats, and all over the place. Whether it be terrorism, whether it be earthquakes, things happen. And I would just try to make sure that I capitalize on being one that survived the recession, and look at risk mitigation. Typically, a job shop has 2 or 3 or 4 customers that are bringing in the bulk of their business. And if they lose one of those customers, it's pretty catastrophic. And it can happen so quick. It could be that the company just went out of business. It could be they got acquired by someone that shut that division down. It could be an earthquake that happened in Japan that destroyed some companies and changed. No one could have predicted that. And so my advice is just risk mitigation. Always have a steady stream of leads, of relationships in development. Sometimes when you use that analogy and say, you don't wait to start roofing your house until it's raining, right? You got to plan in advance, and that would be my advice.
Okay. Where does MFG.com fit in a strategy for a job shop?
Oh, thanks for that. Serving that question up. You know what MFG.com does is we drive highly precision, highly targeted leads to job shops, and we do that in a number of ways through the web. Now, we all do everything on the internet today, whether we're getting our hotel, or buying our golf clubs on eBay, whatever it is, we're all using the web. That's no different with purchasing agents and buyers that do sourcing for major corporations. That's the first place they go, but they go different places. So maybe they're using search engines like Google or Yahoo or Bing, or maybe they're coming straight to MFG.com and creating a request for quote and letting it match up to suppliers, job shops that have the right equipment, expertise, and capacity. Sometimes they just use our supplier discovery database, which is probably the best in the world, because we have got so many ratings that have been performed on suppliers and things. Or sometimes they're using an internal system, whether it be SAP or MFG.com's LiveSource product, where we syndicate our supplier content into those enterprise systems, as well as into portals of different states and economic development agencies that use our content to syndicate into. So buyers travel lots of routes. You never know where they're going to be. And so for a job shop to figure out how to put themselves in those positions, it's almost impossible. So by becoming a member with MFG.com, we're able to help insert them into the channels where their customers, their potential customers, are traveling. So many people get caught up on MFG.com and think, oh, this is a place to get RFQs and quote RFQs, right? But what that really is, an RFQ is really a very precision, highly targeted way of delivering a lead. No one else can deliver a lead as highly targeted and qualified as MFG.com does. So that's how we fit into the equation. So as I was speaking a moment ago about risk mitigation, don't become captive. JobShop needs to develop a steady stream of leads, of prospects, budding relationships, so that when things happen, they lose a customer for whatever reason, they've got someone standing in line.
What are the most profitable job shops on MFG.com? How do they use it? They use it to their advantage.
Yeah, the way, they use it to build relationships, right? And that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. They use it to build relationships, and because that's how you make money, right? It's not about a job. If you're in the business, if you're in the business to make parts, that's one thing. If you're in the business to make profits, that's the kind of customer that we target is going to be the right fit for MFG.com. And they know that it's an investment in, maybe doing a small job in the beginning to get to know each other. And then, maybe the quantities of that one grows. Then that company sends the job shop other things to quote on, and they grow that relationship. So companies that are well-run businesses, job shops that are business-minded, not just, I make good parts, because you're not in business to make parts, you're in business to make profits. If you want to make parts, you should go work somewhere as a machinist or a metal bender. If you're in business to run a business, then you need to think about relationships with customers and creating profits. And there's a difference, by the way. A lot of job shops today will say, oh, we're busy. There's a difference in being busy and being profitable.